Alright guys, this is going to be a psychology video. My mic's broken, so I'm not gonna have the best audio, and I don't get my mic until Monday. So you're just gonna have to be okay with this. This is just gonna be straight off the dome. I haven't really prepared any like speech or anything crazy or any quotes to give you guys. So I'm basically just gonna be going over, why I personally believe, how to get good psychology in trading, and maybe give you guys some inspiration, some advice, so you stop, revenge trading, FOMOing, and doing all kinds of things. So in my opinion, if you want to have a better psychology, you kind of have to understand the back end of how psychology works. And I noticed that on TikTok and YouTube, and there's this like common um, conception that if you can't make your bed, or if you're what I'm saying, if you can't go to the gym consistently, then you're not going to do this, that, or third when it comes to trading. But as you guys can see, my bed is right over there. Yes, it's chopped. Yes, I should probably get a better bed, but it's not made. And I go to the gym whenever I want. I don't start bulking till next week, and guess what? My psychology is perfectly fine. You feel me? So that to me is cope. Doing all these external factors is cope. Going to the gym to try to make your psychology better, um, it's cope. You're probably going to blow your account the next day. Making your bed after blowing accounts is not going to prevent you from blowing your account. Okay. So with that being said, how does psychology really work when it comes to trading? Um, so I want you to think about, and mind you, I've been not mentored, but I've personally spoken to the famous um, mentor, Walter Bond. He's not a mentor. He does like inspiration. So you just look him up, right? Very famous guy. Um, and you have to think about what the best version of you looks like, and then try to embody that version of you every single day. And so whenever you're trading the best, and you're seeing those green streaks, and maybe you won twice or three times, or you had those days where you took a trade, you won, you got off, or you took a trade and you lost and you got off. How does that version of you feel? What is he thinking? What is he wanting to do? Because I can tell you right now, whenever I'm trading, I'm not actively thinking about, oh, if I have good psychology today, I can finally get my Lambo, or I could be in a Miami penthouse and this and that. That's not going through my head. Okay, I'm not actively thinking about anything but the charts when I'm trading. So, I think it ultimately comes down to um, incentive. I feel like if you understand that if you have good psychology and you don't revenge trade and you don't FOMO, and you just follow your system and you have a profitable system, and you actively get an incentive from following your rules, which is what it comes down to is money, you're most likely going to have good psychology. I didn't have great psychology until I found a model that was, great for me, that had a high win rate, and I knew that if I followed my model through and through, I was most likely going to make money. And I used to do all kinds of things. I used to bottom ticket, I used to top ticket, and I was pretty good at it, right? And I used to have another model that was like maybe 60% win rate and average, like one or two, one or three, maybe. In those models, I could have been profitable with. I've gotten a payout from one of those models. I've seen good bread on XFA from the bottom top ticket models, right? But I didn't really have that instilled confidence in me that keep me going every day and to consistently follow that model. So with that being said, to summarize what I'm trying to say is, you're probably not going to have the best psychology when it comes to trading until you find a very good profitable model. There's no point in following your rules and not revenge trading and not over leveraging and all these little things whenever you are active actively being unprofitable, and you don't have any data or statistics behind your model. So it doesn't really matter if you take a trade and you lose, and you revenge trade and you take another trade and it's outside of your system. Your system's not even profitable. At that point, is it even considered revenge trading? You know what I mean? It's not like you're gonna win in the first place. You know, you're gambling in the first place if you don't have a profitable model. So let's talk about certain things like FOMO or revenge trading, which is kind of the more common things when it comes to having bad psychology, right? So let's just say here's a quick scenario. Um, here's a quick scenario. 9:30 immediately takes out all your draws and liquidities or whatever, right? And you don't know what's going on. If you have the right information and you understand market structure and you understand order flow and you're able to adapt, and on top of that you have a very good model and system, that's not something you're going to be worried about. You're not going to be worried about price skyrocketing without you and leaving you behind. You're not going to be worried about price chopping. You're not going to be worried about anything. The reason for that is you're going to make money regardless. Your system's probably gonna pop up 2 or 3 times in that same session, right? Obviously it depends on the system, but it's gonna pop up even after that, maybe even a PM session. And what it really just comes down to isn't what price is doing, right? If price is skyrocketing 200, 300 points, that has nothing to do with me. That's not gonna make me money, right? All I need to worry about is taking my system, right? So the FOMO isn't even a factor at that point. It's really just, is my system there? If it's there, I'll take it. If it's not, it's not. You feel me? Same thing when it comes to revenge trading. If you're gonna revenge trade, and trust me, like, there was times where I would revenge trade even while being profitable. But guess what? I was revenge trading my system. So would I even consider it revenge trading if I have a high win rate? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let's just say I have a 70% win rate, right? And I lose the first trade and I'm not comfortable leaving off the charts. And I tell myself that I'm only taking 1 trade a day. Let's just say that's my rules. I'm like, no, I want to revenge trade. Guess what I'm going to do? I know that if I take anything outside of my system, I'm most likely going to lose money. Then I'm actually going to be mad. You feel me? So if I'm going to revenge trade, I'm going to take an A+ model. That's just the way I view things. I know you guys just want to make your money back real quick and don't have the patience and are probably just going to inverse your trade one way or the other. And there's no secret tip to not doing that. And I feel like a lot of people make it seem like there's some, trick or tip that makes you like not do that, but what it ultimately comes down to is just not doing it. No one's gonna tell you otherwise. Maybe it's different for me since I've been trading for a while. I've been trading for 2 years and like 3 quarters, so maybe I just got used to it. But me realizing that I'm most likely going to lose money if I don't take my system has given me more than enough incentive to only take my system. Because guess what? I'm going to make money if I take my system. Versus revenge trading, taking anything or everything, right? You could get lucky, probably not. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on revenge trading. What are some other things? Over trading is a big one, not knowing when to get off the charts, especially whenever there's chop, or you lost during chop, and or not even you lost during chop, maybe just a execution error and you're supposed to win that trade. Just the itty bitty nitsy stuff that comes in trading that causes you to want to take another trade that might be out of your control. Over trading, revenge trading is basically twins. I think what it ultimately comes down to is just having a really nice, profitable system, right? And so instead of having confidence in yourself, you should have confidence in your system. And in order to have confidence in your system, you need to have statistical data and data collected behind that system that you know it's profitable. You know the win rate. You have the rules behind that system. Therefore, that is what you are trading only, right? So I want you to keep in mind that this is all coming off the top of my head. You feel me? So if I'm not like making sense, just bear with me, right? So yeah, that's how I kind of think of things. The better your system, the more that like you kind of know and understand about the market, the less likely you're gonna have bad psychology, because you're probably going to be winning a lot more, and you'll have a higher incentive to have good psychology. None of that extra stuff. It's none of that extra stuff. I promise you. So that's my take on psychology. I know people might have a different take. Like they'll sit here, they'll be by their car and give you some, sob story, or they'll sit here and tell you should do it for the Lambo, or you should do it for this, that, and third. But in reality, like, you're gonna always have bad psychology until you have a profitable model, or you're always gonna have a bad psychology until you are mechanically great enough to have a good psychology. So I wish I could say something a little bit more inspirational, a little bit more branded, but I try to keep things real. I know I've been probably saying the same thing for 10 minutes straight, but I can't, I can't really, what's the saying? What's the saying? I forget. I just can't say it enough. That's just what it comes down to. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe this makes you a better trader. Maybe this opens your eyes. I'm not Salman. I'm not gonna sit here and give you some inspirational bullcrap. I just think that is what ultimately comes down to having good psychology. So.